We were looking at the most exciting and dramatic Premier League title race in history, with Liverpool, Man City and Arsenal all going for the title and seeming inseparable. But after one shock round of results at the weekend, there's now talk that the Premier League title race is over.
He's in, and he's snuck it across to Hayden Hutney!
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. We're going to be discussing the Premier League title race, as I say, fought between three sides who have set a ridiculous standard in the Premier League, not only this season, but in recent times. Man City, Arsenal and Liverpool all going for the Premier League title. Liverpool, of course, wanting to send Jurgen Klopp off into the sunset with his second Premier League title. Arsenal wanting to end their 20-year wait for a Premier League, and Manchester City going for their unprecedented fourth Premier League title in a row. Now, there's still 6 games to go, and there's only 2 points between the top sides, with City on 73, Arsenal and Liverpool on 71. And it was down to some shock results at the weekend that has flipped the script on its head. Then went and lost at home 2-0 in the Premier League. Arsenal lost 2-0 at home to Aston Villa, and Liverpool lost at home to Crystal Palace 1-0 in what I think was their first league defeat at home in next to or almost a year. Now, of course, in any normal circumstances, a 2-point gap at the top of the league isn't much, with still 18 points to play for, so the argument that the title race is over might be a little bit of a silly one. Certain pundits, like Paul Merson, for example, have already wrote off the likes of Arsenal winning the title this season, which I think is a little bit overreactive. But given Manchester City's experience at winning the Premier League and getting the job done this late into the season, as well as Arsenal's recent experience in getting all the way and then bottling it towards the end of the season, there is an argument to suggest that Manchester City are by far suited in this situation at this time of the season to get over the line, and them having a 2-point lead, as well as their experience and their relentlessness to win, might already be too much of a grasp and too much of a grip on the Premier League title for Arsenal and Liverpool to overturn. But it's not just Manchester City's history and their experience that I think puts them well in the driving seat, it's also the run-in as well. Looking at the 6 remaining games for each of the 3 title contenders, Manchester City do have, on paper, the easiest run-in. There are some difficult fixtures in there for all 3 sides, but Manchester City's 6 remaining opponents average around 43.8 points across the season. Arsenal's a little bit higher with 44.3, so not too much separating them, whereas Liverpool have a significantly harder running on paper, with their 6 remaining opponents averaging or coming to around 47.2 points. Now, if you look at the fixtures for each of the sides, Manchester City, the one for me, the glaring one, is Tottenham away. I think it's very difficult to see Manchester City losing any games right now, but if there was a bogey team and a bogey ground for Manchester City in recent years, it is going to Tottenham. So if Arsenal and Liverpool are planning on winning all of their remaining games, which chances are they very well might need to, they'll be hoping that Tottenham do them a favour at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and they do get a result at Manchester City dropping points on what will be the penultimate game of the Premier League season. Talking of Tottenham though, they will have a massive say on the other 2 title contenders as well, because they face Arsenal in a couple of games' time. Again, that's at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and you just know Tottenham will do everything in their power to stop Arsenal from winning the Premier League title. So out of all the remaining games, Tottenham, I'm sure, will want to win that game, or at least take something away from Arsenal, and that will be a huge test of Arsenal's credentials as Premier League winners, a huge test of their nerve if they can go to their nearest rivals and keep on track and stay with City in the title race. As well as that, they're also travelling to Manchester United, and although Man United are as hit and miss as a Premier League side gets, they're another side with lots of history with Arsenal, and another side who will want nothing more than to see Arsenal bottle the title race. But I guess you can also argue Manchester United hate City and Liverpool even more, so it's an interesting one. But regardless of what the fans or the opposition may think, they are two very, very difficult away fixtures for Arsenal. I think they'll be alright everywhere else. I think Wolves, Chelsea, Bournemouth and Everton at home are games they should win at the very least, but them two away games to Tottenham and United are absolutely huge and are the two biggest banana skins, in my opinion, in Arsenal's running. And then you look at Liverpool, and on paper, yeah, they're tough. The next two games they should win, Fulham and Everton away. And if we want to talk about teams having motivation to stop their rivals winning the title, then Everton won't need any more motivation than to stop Liverpool, especially at what will be, I'm sure, a hostile, packed out Goodison Park for an Everton side who themselves are desperately trying to claw themselves away from the relegation zone. So out of all the fixtures and derbies in this list, Goodison Park could be the most tricky, and if Liverpool were to lose that game, their title race could be over very, very soon. Tottenham once again play a part in this title race. I mean, normally you'd always fancy Liverpool at home. I know recent form doesn't suggest that, so Tottenham at home might be a little bit easier than what the other two have to do going away to Tottenham, but one fixture that still stands out as a very, very difficult one is Aston Villa away. Villa, still, despite being fourth, a very underrated team this season, I feel, and I think Liverpool going there will be arguably the toughest game of the entire run-in. That's going to be extremely tough for them, and again, penultimate game of the season, Arsenal might be looking at that weekend and thinking, if Tottenham can do something against City, Villa can do something against Liverpool. If Arsenal are still in with a shout, they might be relying on them penultimate games as a route back into the title race going into the final game of the season. So we've discussed the run-in, we've looked at the potential banana skin games, and as I say, as well as City just being the ones who you can rely upon winning a title from this position, the fact they have the easiest run-in only stacks the odds up against Arsenal and Liverpool even more. But it's not just that is reason to be concerned for the Gunners and Liverpool, because in recent games you can see with the expected goals and expected goals against, Arsenal have took a worrying dip. Their expected goals and goals against have closed up almost as much as they have done all season. Arsenal are conceding a lot more high quality chances against them, and they're not creating as many as well. These are the fine margins that Arsenal will need to overturn in the final couple of games of the season if they are to get back on track. This is the worst time for them to start bottling it, and of course we know from last season that could be in the back of the Arsenal players' minds, the fact that they led literally for around 90% of the season last year and still didn't get the job done, and they might be scared that history could be repeating itself once again. And as for Liverpool, there was an interesting stat on Monday Night Football which I thought was really, really interesting, and this isn't a recent form kind of stat, this is a overall season stat that might well be catching up with Liverpool, and that is that they have needed to come from behind to win more games and more points than anyone else in the Premier League this season. They've won 27 points from losing positions, which is an incredible stat if you want to look at it from a positive point of view. The fact that they're showing great character, they're showing great endeavour, resilience to get back into these games and to win them. But you'd have to think that having to come from behind in games so often will catch up with sides eventually, and at times like these, in games like these, in the run-in, going behind in games is something you do not want to keep doing, and you don't want to keep relying on winning from losing positions when you're in a title race such as this. So that's a stat that is a little bit worrying from a Liverpool point of view if they do suddenly stop coming from behind in games. And as well as that, their shot conversion is only at 11%, which again is one of the lowest in the Premier League, if not the lowest, and is something, again, you do not want in a run-in. You're going to have to be creating so many chances in order to convert them with a shot conversion that low, and we have seen in recent games Darwin Núñez is culprit, Mo Salah's been a culprit, Curtis Jones missed a sitter at the weekend. Liverpool have picked the worst time in the season to start missing their chances and being wasteful in front of goals. So Arsenal and Liverpool have got significant trends, both going forward and going backwards defensively, that they need to overturn pretty quickly if they want to get back into the title race and overturn City, because at the minute Manchester City look absolutely bulletproof. As we know, Man City, they just know how to get the job done, and they don't seem to need to hit top gear to win games at the moment. Arsenal and Liverpool having to either come from behind or score late goals, or having to give their absolute all to beat teams at the minute, whereas City are cruising. And it does feel like even if things do get a bit patchy for City, they've got gears to go through, whereas I'm not too sure Arsenal and Liverpool do. So taking all of these things into consideration, experience, the running, the opposition, the places they've got to go, the teams they've got to face, and the form and the trends, no doubt Manchester City are by far massive favourites to win the Premier League. Arsenal and Liverpool have to rely on them losing a game somewhere along the line. Of course, Arsenal's superior goal difference might end up playing a part, but if you're Arsenal or Liverpool, you simply have to be looking at winning every single game between now and the end of the season, because City do not only not look like losing at all between now and the final day, given the fact they've only lost 3 times all season, they're going to have to lose and some if Arsenal and Liverpool are going to overturn that deficit, and they cannot afford any more slip-ups. And it's a case of, can they bounce back psychologically from the defeats at the weekend and in Europe as well, which they are behind in their respective first legs too. So do let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, who you think is in the driving seat in the Premier League title race and who you think will end up getting over the line and winning the title. I think City have always been favourites even when they were third, so the fact that they're now top and ahead and in the driving seat is even more of a concern for Arsenal and Liverpool. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you've enjoyed this video, a little bit different, of course I did say I'll be bringing more general football related videos to the channel. I hope you've enjoyed this one and my thoughts on the title race. If you have done, do hit the like button and subscribe for more on the channel. Hit the bell so you never miss when we drop a video here on the channel. I will be bringing a couple of more videos like this in regards to the relegation battle, if there even is one in the Premier League at the moment, as well as the title race and relegation battle in the Championship, which is extremely exciting as always. But until next time guys, a big thank you for watching, do take care, and I will see you all in the next one.